Okay, so today we're going to do the moving off and stopping. So first of all, we're going to introduce POM. So POM stands for preparation, observation, and then finally move. So you remember it in them steps, it's quite easy to get the car on the move, making sure everything's done in the right direction. So preparation, we're going to start off with, once the engine's running, we're going to put the clutch down, we're going to select first gear, we're going to get the clutch back to the bite point, and then we're also going to add some power in there. Again, gentle power if we want to move off nice and slowly, more power on if we want to move off a lot quicker. So getting the car prepared is the first step. So the second step would be the observation checks. So once we're looking around, obviously looking around the car, we've got the 3 mirrors, we also need to cover blind spot areas. So the first job I would be doing is checking what's behind me and also the road ahead of me. So I can see at the moment the road's pretty clear coming towards me, it's looking pretty clear behind me. So I'm now going to cover everything else on the checks. So I'm going to start from the left shoulder. So I'm making sure that there's no pedestrians or any dangers in that area just behind the car. Now I can move myself to the left side mirror. That's now covering all the way down the footpath, the grass verge, down to the junction behind me. Now I can keep on working my way around, so looking in front again, also checking behind me again. Finally, I can start moving to the right side of the car. So again, I'm looking down the road behind me, seeing if it's looking clear further down the road. And then finally, I'm going to make sure I'm going to do this check over my right shoulder, which is my blind area. I'm literally just looking just behind my shoulder. I don't need to strain my neck so I'm looking down the road. Remember, your mirrors are covering that. So just a quick recap on that. Checking forward and backwards. Going for the left shoulder, through the mirrors, round, side mirror, shoulder. And it needs to be, them checks need to be done fairly quickly, because you don't want to be taking too long to do it, because the time you've done it, things have happened behind you. So now I'm happy that it's safe to move. So at that point there, I'll be doing them checks with my hand on the handbrake. So the moment I'm happy it's clear, I'm going to release the handbrake, and then at that point, because I've already got the bite point set, I should now start to move the car. I'm now going into the move stage of the manoeuvre. So I'm going to hold the clutch now for about 3 to 4 seconds while the car gets momentum. As that momentum starts to kick in, I'm then going to slowly lift off the clutch fully and increase more power when I need it. As I start to move as well, my next thing I've got to think about as well is my steering. So as I start to move, I'm now going to start turning the wheel away from the curb. It's going to be literally less than a quarter of a turn, just to push the car out gently, move around the parked vehicles or any issues I've got ahead of me, and then gently straighten the car back up. I'll have to move it slightly more to the left to bring the car back around on the angle, and then finally straightening the wheel completely. And I'm just going to point the car straight down the road. Going back to normal road position, so at the moment I'm parked up about a foot off the curb. I can tell that by where the curb line runs into my windscreen, and at the moment the curb sort of hits the bonnet about middle of the bonnet, and then at that point it disappears. So as long as the curb is around about that middle position on the bonnet, I know I'm about a foot off the curb. When I come to park up at the end of it, I'm going to be bringing that curb back to that same position. When I'm driving down the road, I want to be about a metre distance. Now a metre distance is roughly the width of a car door. And I'm going to know I'm about a metre distance, because that curb line, it's not going to be in the centre of the bonnet this time, it's going to be possibly about a quarter of the way across the bonnet. So again, I know that I'm going to be a nice distance off the curb. When I come up to parked cars, the right side wheel of that parked car is going to be my new curb. So that right side wheel, again, it's going to be about a quarter of the way across the bonnet. And that's going to give me a metre distance as I'm alongside the parked vehicle. Right then, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is when I come to stop. So when I come to bring the car to a stop, I'm going to use the MSM routine, which is mirrors, signal, manoeuvre. Also, the first thing I will need to do is assess the road ahead of me. Where am I going to park the car? So looking ahead, looking for places where it's safe to park, it's legal to park. I don't want to be causing any obstructions, I don't want to be blocking anyone's driveway. So I've looked well ahead down the road, I've decided I'm going to park the car. This time it's going to be before the white van. Now I'm going to start checking my mirrors. I'm going to check the interior mirror. I'm also going to check the left side door mirror. And what I'm looking for now is what's directly behind me, and also what's on the back corner of the car. So there might be, depending on the speed, there could be a cyclist, more likely possibly a motorbike when I'm going a lot quicker. So I'm looking for them sort of dangers. I've then got to make a decision if it's safe to stop at that point, or do I need to work my next routines a lot earlier. So I've checked the interior mirror, I've checked the left side door mirror. At that point I'm going to decide, obviously, if it's safe or not. I can then decide if I need a signal. If I need a signal, I'm going to click down for a left signal. Signal's now on. I can now start thinking about my stopping routine. So I'm going to now start thinking about slowing the car down. So I'm going to lift off the power. I'm going to move towards the brake pedal and very gently start bringing that speed down. As the speed starts dropping, I've also got to think about when to put the clutch down, because what I don't want to do is stall the engine. So I'm off the power, I'm onto the brake, I'm bringing the speed down. I'm also going to start bringing the car back towards the curb. So again, remember what I said about the curb, a quarter of the way across the bonnet as I'm driving. I'm going to start bringing the curb back to the middle of the bonnet. As the curb's getting to the middle, I'm then going to start straightening the car back out. So I'm going to start turning to the right to bring the car to a straight line alongside the curb. And then finally, wheel straight. As I'm doing all that, I'm probably pushing the clutch all the way to the floor. Make sure that clutch gets fully pressed down. And then I can be gentle on the brake to bring the car to a soft stop. And the slower the car moves, I want to actually ease off the brake. I don't want to keep pressing the brake on, because that's going to stop the car very, very quickly. So slight lift off the brake and let the car roll on. And then what you might need to then do is feather the brake and be very gently, just to bring it to a smooth controlled stop. Once the car stops, I will then apply the handbrake. I will then bring the gear back to neutral. I will then also cancel the signal. At that point now, I can let go of all the pedals. I now know the car is secure. Okay, so I'm going to move off. I'm going to move off in first gear. I'm not going to bother with the gear change. I'm just going to move off in first gear. I'm going to stop in first gear. So I'm going to move the car off using POM. I'm going to gain normal road position. I'm then going to plan to park up. Use my MSM routine, mirror signal manoeuvre. Off the power, slow down to the curb, level the car out, bring it to a complete stop. So I'm now going to demonstrate. Okay, starting the engine. Handbrake's secured, gears in neutral, clutch down, push button start, engine's on. Not in gear, I can let go of the clutch. Okay, so I'm going to prepare the car. So clutch down, fully. Select gear 1, clutch to the bite point. I can feel the car pulling, so I'm going to hold that clutch steady. Very, very gentle on the power. I don't need a lot of power. Gentle power. I can see at the moment it's clear ahead of me, and it's also clear behind me. Shoulder, work my way through the mirrors. Right shoulder check, clear. Handbrake off. Got to keep checking that right side. It's all clear to move. Wheel straight. My clutch is now starting to lift fully. Straighten the wheel up. I'm going to just bring it back towards a metre from the curb. It's about a quarter of the way across the bonnet. I'm now going to park the car up. Check the mirrors. I'm now going to indicate left. Off the power. Cover the brake and clutch. Gently towards the curb. Clutch can go fully down. Curb's back to about a middle of the bonnet. And wheel straight. And I'm going to be very, very soft on that foot brake. And I'm now gently bringing it to a complete stop. I haven't finished yet, because I've got to now secure the handbrake, gear back to neutral, indicator off. I can now let go of the pedals. And that's how we're going to move off and stop.